Welcome to twitch.tv/iCreamPods. My name is Graham D, and I'm joined by the man that we call... I'll read Bib.
Hiya.
Yeah, hi.
Bibby on Ichio.
I was going to say, which one? Yeah.
I have tapped Nichio up for potentially a stream tonight. I already let him know earlier on in the week, but fingers crossed he'll be around.
Ooh, Bibby and Nichio. Nice. Fun times.
Supreme team.
Do you know, this is where we need the BNBN. BNBN. That could be the Bibby and Nichio intro tune.
Oh my god, your brother's already on it. He's got his synth out.
Yeah. David, it's all right. Wait, we'll get Candy Bear to belt it out like full on power ballad-esque, and then you can add in the bit from me in the background.
I'm going to make a trailer for it.
Yeah.
It's going to be like a 10-15 second intro video. Yeah, that's what I need. So sorry,
just blue screened.
But you know when you feel something like at the back of your throat and it just kind of it scratches a little bit and then you cough up and then you're like, oh my god, that's literally just like it swallowed my entire throat up. That's what that was. Gross, I know, but it's flu season, isn't it? It's getting.
I feel like that should be in the intro video now because that's what you were talking about and that's what you mentioned it. I feel like the intro video should just be you guys just like gipping sort of stuff. There you go. BNB.
We're playing Fortnite. You're just allergic to it. But no, yeah. Apart from all of that, Graham, I am great. What about you?
I am fantastic. Still pretty tired after the weekend.
We'll go for it.
Yeah, it's good. I did ask you, but in the mind.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks, Bib. Thank you for asking. Thank you for being more considerate and caring than I am. I appreciate that.
I've just seen on the little stream preview that you are looking very American today.
Yeah, I told you. That's what I said to you. I said I'm wearing my blue ICU hat because I had a long sleeve white t-shirt on, which was a bit creased because I've just been sat here working in it this morning.
Grease lightning.
Yeah. So I
Jesus
threw.
Grease.
Are you okay, mate?
I can carry on if you want.
No, I think we're good. Thank you.
Okay, I'll stop at 2.
Anyway.
Jesus Grease if you want.
Jesus Christ, man. So yes, I was wearing a long sleeve white t-shirt that was Jesus Christ, so I thought I'll throw a layer on top of it, and I got my New York Yankees from New York, by the way, baseball jersey on. I thought, do you know what? I'm going to go full American now. I'm going to get my LA Dodgers inspired ICU blue hat and go like bit of LA, bit of NY, bit of it all. Yeah, look like an absolute tourist. So I don't mind. It's fine.
Challenge for you.
What's that?
How good is your American accent?
It's great.
Is it though? Is it though?
10 out of 10.
Okay, so if you can, I tell you what, if you do the first news story and your thoughts and opinions, I will drop £5 into the Big Birthday Bash charity pot. But you have to do it in a convincing American accent.
Okay, I accept. Before I jump into my rationale, I'm an American that was born in America but grew up in Huddersfield and then moved over to Manchester.
To 2 English parents.
Yeah, went to an English school and so on. Passport is definitely American. So that's the character that I will read it in. So yeah, something like that. If you're watching this and you're thinking, why the fuck is this weird dude going to be an American English accent person? Well, this is what we call entertainment. This is The Scoop. This is the UK's #1 video game podcast. Well, that's what we say anyway. Anyway, if you are in the stream, please do feel free to stick around for the next hour or so. We're going to jump through a bunch of video game stories. The biggest, the best, the breaking stories in the world of video games. But it's not just about those stories. We'll give you our thoughts and impressions, and we want to hear your thoughts and impressions, and then your thoughts and impressions on our thoughts and impressions. That's kind of how the whole thing works. So please, like I say, snacks, drinks, get comfortable. We'll jump in. If you are watching, though, please do feel free to get involved with said thoughts and impressions because the live stream is turned into a podcast, a video on YouTube and an audio podcast on iTunes and Spotify and Amazon Music and Google Play. Lots of places where well over 200,000 people have watched and listened to the podcast on demand. So on demand, you get to fast forward, you get to pause and rewind, and you can hear me say this again. and hear me say this again and all that sort of stuff. But what you don't get to do is actually get involved and influence the conversation. So if you are in the stream, please do feel free to do that. And if you are watching from the Twitch front page, because Ice Cream Uploads is on the Twitch front page in a few different territories right now, we have a lot of extra viewers compared to what we would usually for a podcast recording. This is your opportunity to get involved and influence content that will stay on YouTube forever. So please do feel free to do that. Before we jump into the show, a couple of talking points. We raised £1,200, and that
How
week.
much?
Well, it's more. It's more like 1,230 now. £1,230 on the weekend. For the good people at Special Effects. And that we is not me and Bib. That's we, us, you guys and us teamed up to raise £1,230 for Special Effects on the weekend, which was incredible. We put a target. We didn't have a target. We've never done a charity stream before, so we didn't know what we could raise. So we put a target of, we put £1,500. Technically, our target was £1,575. And I've told people why that is. When you stream for Special Effects as an official event for them, you become part of their stream team for the year. So we are in the 2023 stream team, and the highest stream team amount on Just Giving for the course of the year was £1,574. We were aiming for 1,575. We didn't get there, sadly. But we did raise 80% of that. We are over £1,200, which, for anyone that watched the stream, is a bubble buster and a half. A bubble buster is basically an AI robot that takes over the world. Okay, maybe not that, but it is a little robot device that allows people to live their lives better. And we've paid for 1.5 of those, which is mega. So we did that on the weekend. We had some fun. Tito fell over. Bibi fell over. Other people probably fell over. So yeah, and as well as falling over, there was video games and there was eating foods and it was good. It was a great experience. Some good content made over the course of 9 hours. Some wonderful people travelled some very long distances to be there, and it was clearly worth it because we raised over £1,000 for charity, which is ridiculous. And in my head, I didn't tell anyone. If we'd raised £400, I thought, do you know what, £400's a good chunk of money. I'll take that. I might have told Bib that. But,
yeah, absolutely. Like it's like even though we was alive, even though we was live for like 9 hours, I genuinely think that we only played like 4.5, maybe 5 hours at a push worth of games because we just spent that much. That we was having that much of a good time in the studio doing what obviously they say that we needed to do. We didn't need really to do anything, but having people come on stage, having conversations with obviously Paige at Special Effects, and just getting across obviously the reason why we was doing it in the first place. I feel like that definitely pushed the envelope in terms of a wider audience, because I know Special Effects are massive. The way in which they help people and the stamp that they have in the community, but in terms of like having front page placement and things like that, that's obviously what we was able to do. Having friends over at Twitch and stuff, having friends over at Twitch to give us the platform to be able to basically introduce, if people didn't already know, which we got confirmation within our chat that a lot of people didn't actually know what Special Effects was. It just went to a little bit of a broader audience, which is always a fantastic thing especially when it comes down to charity as well. Like you get Children in Need every single year, or the Macmillan coffee mornings and things like that, which is pretty much a staple in most people's offices. Yeah. But for an industry that we work in when it comes to video games and stuff, and an industry that people tune in for maybe this podcast or our video game streams and stuff like that, they might not necessarily know what it is, and it's a fantastic cause. So being able to elevate that voice and to get people involved from all over the world, essentially, it was a privilege to be able to host something like that.
Absolutely. And like Degnan said in the Discord this morning, or it might have been yesterday morning, he had his Special Effect wristband on, and he said just having it on is good because he hopes people ask him about what it is, so therefore he can tell them what it is and what it's from and what they do and what the cause is. So just the awareness side of it, even without the £1,200, the awareness side of it was fantastic because more people know what Special Effect is. And if you missed that and you don't know what Special Effect is, I won't go on about it too much longer because obviously we've got a podcast to get into, but the gist of it is you play video games, probably, I assume, because you're watching a video game podcast either live on Twitch or on YouTube. You have probably some form of interest in video games. How would you feel if that was taken away from you in an instant? Be you had an accident, be you had some form of illness, your body just aged and changed in a way that didn't allow you to game the way that you wanted to, or the games that you wanted to play. Special Effect works on trying to provide people with the ability to carry on playing. For as many people playing games for as long as possible is their mantra, which is so pure that you can't help but just get on board with that. So yeah, that's what it was about. It's about raising money to allow people to play video games, to pass time, to have fun, to escape the stresses of life and whatever other things that you use video games for. Let alone the benefits like learning and skill building and all of that stuff that comes with it. So yeah, that's what we did that for. And we had a great time on Saturday doing that. As you can see, the link is in the chat. You can still donate. We are taking donations constantly. I mean, they're not going to say no, it's a charity. They would always take the money. But obviously, if you do want to throw a few extra quid down, do feel free to. The link will stay open. And if we can raise, this morning it was like 360 extra quid or something like that, 370 quid. By the end of the year, then we will pass the team that's in first place. We're the third highest donation team on their Just Giving stream team. If we get 360 quid or 370 quid, then we will go into first place. Since then, we've had a donation from West, so it's probably about 350-ish now. Obviously, that's a good chunk of cash when you're not doing a big major stream like we did the other week. So we're probably not going to hit that. But you never know. You never know. If you do have a few quid,
never know.
You want to do something charitable for Christmas, then do feel free to use the link, throw it as much as you can down. We would very much appreciate that. Elsewhere, we gave a lot of prizes away. If you did donate, the prizes are in Discord. You can see who has won and what. We won't go through that now. So if you want to find that exclamation mark Discord in the chat and go to the ICU announcements section, it is in there. Speaking of prizes, Monday coming will be the 4th of December, which is one day after the 3rd of December, which is my birthday. Just in case you didn't know where I get presents on the 3rd of December, it is. But on the 4th of December, you can get presents because the first Monday of every month is when we do the loot drop. Anyone that subscribes to our channel gets entered into a giveaway, and this month's giveaway will be taking place on Monday. We haven't refined or defined even what the prize is for that, but rest assured, if you're a sub at 3 p.m. on Monday, your name will be going into the hat, so you can bag yourself a prize. Nice. Okay, let's talk about some video game news while we jump over to the split screen.
Let's do it.
So, Mr. Bibb.
Yeah.
Do you have an Xbox?
I have an Xbox Series S.
Are you interested in the Video Game Awards?
Vanity Awards aren't my bag, but I can understand why people like to get behind them.
Would you get behind the Video Game Awards a little bit more if it wasn't just Vanity Awards, but it was packed full of important announcements?
Absolutely, Graham.
Well, that's great because that's the segue that we've put together, and that's what we're going down. Okay, this is written by Shunal, Doke at Gaming Bolt, and the article says Xbox is teasing important announcements in quotes for the Game Awards. The last time Xbox asked people to watch the Game Awards in its newsletter, it unveiled the Xbox Series X at the event. Woo! Not like a spicy bit of like teeing up there. The last time Xbox said it had important announcements, it released the first look at its brand new console, and it's doing the same this time. Let's jump into the article. So Microsoft has confirmed in a recent newsletter that it will have a major presence at the Game Awards 2023. According to the newsletter, the company has big announcements planned for the event, which is slated to take place on December the 7th. It is currently unknown what kind of announcements Xbox will be making at the event, but we can expect any number of new titles from the company. As caught by @ColtEastwood, on social media platform Twitter, I'm not calling it X, get in the bin. The last time Microsoft announced a major presence at the Game Awards was when the company unveiled its current generation of consoles. A report from earlier this month indicated that Xbox might have something major planned for the Game Awards. While not too many details about what we can expect are available, announcements from Xbox can include any number of games or hardware. The Game Awards 2023 will have quite a few new announcements, with titles like Death Stranding 2 teased for the event. Larian Studios has also confirmed that it will be announcing the release date for the Xbox Series X and S version of Baldur's Gate at the show. And the article just randomly stops there. I thought there was going to be a bit more, but okay, well, fine. Okay, Xbox is teasing. A nice teaser to get us started off with the show. Important announcements for the Game Awards. The last time Xbox teased content at the Game Awards, it was the biggest bit of content they've had over the last decade. Should we be excited for this? What are your thoughts, Mr. Bibb?
Do you know what, Graham? Yes, I would love to say yes. However, there's a very skeptical part of me that thinks that because they've announced something once, And it was obviously a massive thing that they announced. It wasn't just a new IP, or it was. Sorry, that's completely disregarding any kind of new IP. But it wasn't like a sequel to a game, or a completely different control. Obviously, the Yorkshire Tea one got announced today. For 150 quid is a hell of a lot of money.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's like nearly 2/3 the cost of. In fact, it's over 2/3 the cost of an Xbox Series S. Unbelievably.
It's bizarre. For anyone that hasn't seen that, by the way, Xbox and PlayStation have both had their controllers skinned up by Yorkshire Tea. So if you want an orange/fieldy sort of vibe on your controller, okay, that's cool. Bearing in mind, a controller for a PS5 will cost you about 30 quid if you get it in a sale. This last couple of weeks, they've been about 30 quid, 39 some places. They were charging you £150 for a standard DualSense controller. Bearing in mind that you can get fucking scuffs for about 50 quid more than that. What?
Yeah.
So
ridiculous.
Yeah.
But anyway, the fact that they've obviously announced something once gives you the idea that when they come to announce something again, they go, but we've announced something previously, so this is probably what you want to tune in for. It doesn't always end up working out like that. They've obviously got you in bait and hook once, and you always think that you're going to receive something. And this is where the expectations versus reality is such a massive disproportion of what we come to expect, and why people end up rating shows so low. Because they think, oh, we've had this before, and you're mentioning that you might have something else that's just going to be equally as big. People are automatically going and going, this is going to be an 8 out of 10, this is going to be a 9 out of 10 show. And then when it turns out to be a brand new controller or something like that, then they go, expectations were way too high for this. This is shit. This is going to be a 3 or 4 out of 10. I understand why they need to build hype for this, because shows like this rely on you tuning in. If only 1,000 people turned up this year, where they had 100,000 the year before, chances are it probably isn't going to get commissioned again next year. So them essentially clickbaiting what it is that you're going to end up wanting to watch is an easy way for you to be able to get through the door. The watch time might plummet straight afterwards, and they realise that there wasn't saving the best till last. The best was the first thing that they announced, but they managed to keep you there for the next 2.5 hours, then that's a little bit shit. But it doesn't take much to burn people this day and age when it comes to video games. So if it isn't something substantial, I am nigh on expecting them to have some form of backlash. But for the sake of what video games brings, and when it comes to showcases, I am hoping and praying that we end up getting something decent from the Video Game Awards.
I feel like this is probably not going to be a controller, because we've had the adaptive controllers like for accessible gaming. We've had the Elite controller Series 2 and stuff like that. Unless we go with some form of hardware, peripheral, like something like VR, it might not be VR specifically, but something like that. I don't see them doing any sort of remote play device, because they're trying to work on things like the Logitech G Cloud and Steam Decks and stuff like that. So I feel like it has to be something gameplay related. And the fact that there was talks about Larian Studios potentially announcing the release date for Xbox Series X and S version of Baldur's Gate, I feel like there is a very significant world where that could just be it. But I say just be it. Baldur's Gate, for a lot of people, is Game of the Year. Baldur's Gate 3 by Larian Studios is Game of the Year. If they've got something set up, Microsoft could have gone to Jeff Keighley and gone, okay, we've got a message that we want to put out, so we're going to give you all sorts of promotion and stuff to get our message out. And that message is Baldur's Gate 3 is being released on X date. It's that's the announcement. That's what we want to lead with. However, we want 2 different versions of that message queued up. We want your Game of the Year 3, your Game of the Year Baldur's Gate 3 edition is coming to Xbox. So everyone goes, oh, this is just one Game of the Year and it's coming to Xbox. So people instantly start putting the two together. So they've probably got that prepped. If that's what it is, they've probably got a Game of the Year edition or something like that that leans into it. It's coming to Xbox, even though it's already on PlayStation. People go, "Oh, it must be an Xbox thing. That's the Game of the Year." And then they go, "Well, if he doesn't win it and Diablo 4 wins it or whatever, then we'll just go, okay, it's coming to Xbox. We'll have that in there." So I feel like that's very much likely to be a thing. But I just don't know what they would come with after that. I mean, don't get me wrong. There is a bajillion Xbox studios that haven't been doing anything publicly that are likely to have been doing a lot of things privately. We could get 5 new video game announcements from Xbox in theory, because all we've had is Bethesda, really, over the last few years. So do we get new Gears stuff coming? I don't know. So yeah, we'll have to see how that kind of unfolds. The thing for me though is Bibby was talking about watch times and view times and stuff, and I saw something the other day that was Jeff Keighley was on a podcast, and if you watch Xbox Showcase, if you watch the Video Game Awards, there is like 2 words that stand out, and it's world premiere. And Jeff Keighley did a very un-Jeff Keighley thing for me, which makes me always think, like, if he's saying something, if he's doing and saying something that's not Jeff Keighley-ish, it's not because he wants to do it, it's because he has to do it. So his words were along the lines of, we're moving away from the world premiere stuff. We don't want to preface every new content that's coming up for the first time as world premiere, because it devalues the other content around it. Because if you see world premiere, you sit up and you pay more attention, and it gets the column inches and stuff. But if you've got a phenomenal update to a game that people already know about, it's not a world premiere. It's we already know it's not the first time I'm seeing this. It's not as exciting. Which just sounds like bullshit to me. I'm sorry, but that sounds like bullshit to me. That's what you say when you need to find an excuse for things not quite going the right way. So, when asked, he said something along the lines of, yeah, we've still got like world premieres, probably as much as what we've had previously-ish, or similar or thereabouts. And that's kind of the way that he answered it. And I'm feeling like, have you though? Or if you have, you've probably had, I know that they won't necessarily have had these games, but I'm going to use them for impact. You've probably had the Starfield announcement and the Spider-Man 2 announcement in the same show. And this year, you've probably got the first announcement, the world premiere from an independent studio that doesn't have the same impact and column inches and stuff like that. So yeah, you may have the same number of world premiere stuff, but are they at the same level? Because you're just using the numbers to kind of tell a story there. And this is coming from Jeff Keighley as well. This is the same person that after the Game Awards every year will put out something like, this is the most watched, engaged, and viewed, and shared, and tweeted, and posted about Game Awards in history. We are live in 72 different countries, in 7 different languages. We've featured in this many posts and stuff like that. And I'm thinking for someone that is very, very much focused on the reach and the stats, moving away from the world premiere stuff for the benefit of everyone else and stuff is not really in your MO. Not all the time. It's only in your MO when it suits you. So for me, the fact that Jeff Keighley is saying they've got less world premieres, or they're not having as much emphasis on that, makes me think, have you got less content? Is there going to be less stuff there? So the view time, the watch time, and so on, are they expecting that to drop for the first time? Because for the last few years, the Game Awards have gone boop, 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 with anticipation. Are they expecting it to drop off this year? And I feel like possibly, because have you seen as much Games Award hype for the last 3-4 weeks as you would have seen last year? I haven't. I've started to see it over the last couple of days, but bearing in mind it's like 7 days away now. I definitely haven't seen... Hello there. I definitely haven't seen it anywhere to that sort of extent as we would have had previously. So... yeah, that coupled with the fact that a little thing called Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to be announcing in early December as well, makes me feel like Jeff Keighley's just been overshadowed. Everyone's gone, fuck it, we might as well not put all our news out because Grand Theft Auto's coming out on the 8th or whatever it's going to be. We will just wait until January and put our stuff out then. So he's had a lot of his stuff pulled. So it'd be interesting to see if his lack of world premiere comes back next year when there's no GTA taking all the shine. So yeah, interesting. I mean, I'm still that's me trying to be balanced realism. I still like the Game Awards. I still like to get excited about that sort of stuff. I do feel like there's less rumours, leaks, we know what's coming out, whatever. If they give us a Game Awards that absolutely smashes it out of the park with stellar announcements start to finish and we don't know any of it going in, then that is a phenomenal way to top off what's been one of the strongest years of video games ever. Because that's what the video games awards is about. It's about celebrating the content that's been throughout the year, and there has been tons of it. if they manage to find a way to give us an awards show that hits the same level of scale by bringing surprises and great content and stuff, then winner. I'm just not convinced at this point. So we'll see. Cookies, welcome in. Is that a Yankees jersey? It is. Picked it up when I was in New York. Yeah. I wonder how long they had that brewing, says David about the Yorkshire tea controllers. Did you see my pun in the Discord earlier on? Yeah, says I like the idea, don't get me wrong. Big fan of Yorkshire tea, like the controllers, but 150 quid? That's a bit steep. Because you let teabag steep and okay, just be then. Okay, Shamranks has redeemed hello there. Welcome in, Shamranks. Did you see that you won a couple of bits, Shamranks? Hi. I don't know how it works, because you don't spend pounds, but you've won a £20 Amazon voucher. So we'll have to figure out the best way of doing that. We could just give you 20 quid, to be fair. You also won an insert coin voucher or something else. So, I mean, the good stuff is that we are outside of Europe, so therefore we're not posting things to you, so you probably will get them, which is nice. Whereas if we were posting things, maybe not. So, yeah. Okay. So Xbox has important announcements lined up for the Game Awards. I hope it's good, and I hope Xbox just have something cooking, something big. Either way,
Cooking.
you're no, we're not. He's dead. We're cooking. You've been cooked.
Yeah, I've been roasted.
Yeah, Xbox. We've not had any Jason Schreiers or Jeff Grubbs or anyone giving us any news on stuff that they're working on, stuff that's been leaked. So you start to get to the point where you think it can't be that big. But hopefully there is something huge in there that just people just don't know. And if it's new studios, I say new, dormant studios, it's very likely because they don't have existing workflows in a recent history that journalists just don't have contacts there. So it is very possible that Microsoft could drop a few bangers. And if they're emailing about it, then they're clearly confident about something. But like Bibby says, keep that with a pinch, because they could just be confident about trying to get eyes on the show as part of the plan. So, yeah. I can shop in pounds if I select it. Well, we'll chat it with you anyway. Either way, we've got roughly 20 quid to give you. It doesn't. We put Amazon voucher because it's easy to sell the idea in it. So either way, worst case, we could just PayPal you 20 quid. Jobs are good. You get
Honestly,
the idea.
That would be so easy. Genuinely.
So it doesn't necessarily have to be an Amazon voucher. It was just to get the point across. Because if you just put a £20 note on your asset, it looks a bit shit. Oh, great, we're giving away cash. That's great for charity. Why don't you just give it to the charity kind of thing? So yeah. Oh, that's what we'll do next time. We'll do a £20 donation in your name. Nice. Okay, next news article. So sticking with Xbox for the majority of the show, this is Tom Ivan at VGC who says Xbox exec says Microsoft wants to bring Game Pass to PlayStation and Nintendo. Okay, this is interesting. Could this be what we get at the Game Awards? Its mission is to have its first-party experiences on, quote, every screen that can play a game, end quote. So Xbox's chief financial officer has said the company eventually wants to bring Game Pass to PlayStation and Nintendo consoles. Tim Stewart told attendees at the Wells Fargo TMT Summit that the company's ultimate goal is to bring all of its content and services, quote, to every screen that can play a game, end quote. This mission is designed to reap higher profits from Microsoft's gaming division than has traditionally been the case with its relatively low-margin console business, the exec said. And it was one of the motivating factors behind the company's $69 $69 billion acquisition of Call of Duty creator Activision Blizzard, which it completed last month. Quotes, for us, when we think about the business, gaming as it relates to Microsoft and with Activision, operating leverage and margin expansion is definitely a piece of that puzzle, Stewart said. At the highest levels, you go from what was a lower margin third-party entity that we sold in our store to a high-margin first-party business. So when you think about the Xbox component of Call of Duty, you go from that low-margin business to a high-margin business. Then what you do is you also expand and say, we're now driving high-margin sales on PlayStation, on Nintendo. End quote. Prior to its purchase of the Activision Blizzard, Microsoft agreed 10-year deals to bring Call of Duty to Nintendo platforms and to keep it on PlayStation consoles should the acquisition be approved by competition regulators. Quote, and that's really, lastly, where we're going in this business. It's that expansion of operating leverage where we think about placing our bets. Stuart added, first-party subscriptions, advertising, those are all high-margin businesses that we want to expand into. And what you'll hear from us more and more is a bit of a change of strategy. And again, not announcing anything broadly here, but our mission is to bring our first-party experiences, our subscription services to every screen that can play a game. That means smart TVs, that means mobile devices, that means what we would have thought of as competitors in the past, like PlayStation and Nintendo. We're going to NVIDIA GeForce Now, their gaming subscription service. But when we're thinking about our business, taking our business to these end points, again, it's that high margin business to new gamers that really Activision allows us to do in a much, I don't want to say easier way, but a much more, I'll say, fast way to get there versus trying to build our own. Okay, we'll stop there. We don't need to go into the extra components. You get the idea. Microsoft used to sell consoles, which don't actually give you tons and tons of profit. You get a chunk of cash. Quite often, you will sell consoles at a loss leader to get people into the industry, into the ecosystem, and then you recoup it back in the high-margin software sales, subscription sales, and things like that. Microsoft's gone, okay, well, why don't we just not sell the low profit boxes? Why don't we use everyone else's boxes? There is more Nintendo Switches and more PlayStations in the marketplace than there is Xboxes. Why don't we just use their device to sell our high profit margin services like Game Pass? Which is a very romantic idea. Obviously, it's a little bit flawed in terms of some of the games that are on Game Pass are available to purchase through PlayStation Store. Do those not become available on the PlayStation Store because you'd instantly be taking money out of PlayStation's pocket? So is it like, well, you get access to the PlayStation catalog of Game Pass or Nintendo and vice versa? So there's some bugs and stuff to be squashed in there, but the idea on paper at the top level sounds pretty good. What are your thoughts, Mr. Bibb?
Yeah, I mean, I don't believe that this is a good investment for them in terms of asking Nintendo and PlayStation to be able to put their service on there, because PlayStation are just going to ask for a stupid amount of money. Why would you want to invest your money in playing PlayStation games on PlayStation Plus, Premium, Extra, whatever it is the subscription models are, when the games are nearly infinitely better that are on Game Pass? Like, obviously, PlayStation don't always have, if they have ever had day one games on their service, versus Xbox that does that religiously. And they a lot of them are third party games, not just first party games. So the games that they're offering on their service is much better for a much cheaper value as well. Why would PlayStation want to go, do you know what, I think this is a good idea for us? They might think, okay, well, our console sales will go up, but they're selling consoles 3-1 on Xbox at this moment in time, so that makes no sense. What Xbox needs to do is look to invest that money that they have and basically just sell something the size of a Fire Stick. I know, obviously, it would just come down to cloud gaming, then I completely understand that, but the Xbox Series S is not an expensive console. As consoles go in your house, it will be the cheapest one by a landslide. It'll be cheaper than your PlayStation Digital. It'll be cheaper than your Nintendo Switch OLED. It'll be cheaper than your Stream Deck. It'll be cheaper than any kind of laptop or PC that are able to play video games. Having that in your setup, it would be absolutely ideal. But if you're in the market for, if you have an internet service provider that can give you unbelievable speeds and you can, stream games well enough, then having a £25, £30 Fire Stick-esque type device, not you, obviously, in the back of your TV to be able to play Game Pass games would be absolutely ideal. There was a point in time where I think Microsoft was looking at that, and it was in one of Phil Spencer's backgrounds. It looked like a little tiny, probably about the size of this remote, to be fair, that was on a shelf behind him, that looked like a little Series S. That would have been ideal to be able to have. I understand that you won't be able to download the games onto it because it wouldn't have the processing power, I imagine, for a decent enough price point, but I'll tell you now, it will be infinitely cheaper than it would be to try and entice Nintendo, who notoriously don't work with anybody, or PlayStation, who is your main competitor, to put your games on their platforms. I just don't think those two companies would be happy with that.
It's definitely, like I said, I use the word romance because it's a romantic idea. We'll team up and everyone will get access to the games, and PlayStation and Microsoft will high five as they skip through the fields of daisies, with Nintendo running behind with a puppy and stuff like that. Oh, my God, video games are so cute and amazing and great, and we all get on. But reality is not like that, and business definitely is not like that, because there is a lot of issues there. So, as mentioned, Game Pass gives you access to a bunch of games, including a bunch from EA. For example, just picking one brand out of the air. What if, let's say, A Way Out? I don't remember if that's on Game Pass. I think it is, but we'll just go with it anyway. You get EA Play through Game Pass, and you get A Way Out through that as well. And you want to play A Way Out on your PlayStation. On Tuesday, the only way you can play A Way Out on your PlayStation is to buy it for 25 quid from the PS Store, or to buy an EA Play subscription through PlayStation, which is putting money straight into PlayStation's hand. On Wednesday, you get Game Pass, which gives you that game for free. You're not going to give that money to Microsoft, to PlayStation. You're going to give the money to Microsoft, who give a small cut to PlayStation. So that's instantly taking any revenue for A Way Out away from PlayStation forever. Unless Xbox then go, okay, we'll allow people to play games on the PlayStation system as long as they're only Xbox games, or as long as we've reached a deal that people can get them for free, air quotes, through the Game Pass subscription on console and so on. But PlayStation, for every little game there, will be like, well, every game that we don't sell is revenue lost. And for every couple of pence we get for people playing through Game Pass and so on, doesn't really build up that revenue. So there's issues with that there. And then the other one is, what if, and we've seen a lot of games launching this year, what if Starfield is coming out at a very busy point of the year, like it did, and Starfield 2 is coming along, and it's planned to release, it doesn't even have to be on the same day, the same week, it could be in the same month. If Starfield is going to come out in the same month as Spider-Man, or the next God of War, or Wolverine, or whatever PlayStation game that's coming along, and Spider-Man and Wolverine and stuff cost you 80 quid to buy at launch, but you've got Starfield 2 for air quotes free on your PlayStation console. What you have done as PlayStation is unlocked your competitors' games, and they will still be that. They will still be competitors. Yes, you will be collaborating. Yes, you will be working together, because Xbox will be using your systems to play their games through cloud functions and all that sort of stuff. But you will still be competing about the titles and things. So Microsoft will still have to make its own games. They're buying studios for that reason. So do PlayStation stop giving access to Starfield for 6 weeks, a month? Do they say, yeah, you're allowed to have games on Game Pass as long as they don't clash with our launchers? None of those are right. None of those are wrong, really, either. But none of them are probably the right answer. So how does it work? So, yeah, wonderful idea. And obviously they aren't selling this as their plan to go forward. This is their financial officer saying, I'm not talking about any long-term plans, I'm just spitballing here. Which clearly that's kind of what it is, because there is a lot of bugs in there. What happens with the games that are available on both platforms? What happens with the launches that are launching along the same time as launches along both platforms? The PlayStation and Microsoft suddenly have to start divvying up the calendar like divorced parents. Okay, you get the kids, i.e. a launch this week, we get a launch next week, you get a launch the week after. It don't work that way, because Nintendo then go, well, we've got our own launches and stuff as well. So you want to put Game Pass on the Switch? We've got the 17th Pokemon game this year coming out on that day, and then there's another Pokemon game coming out the week after, and another Pokemon game coming out the week after. So, yeah. So, lovely idea. I would love to see Game Pass available everywhere. I just don't know how it works. So, yeah. Every screen that can play a game, playing video games, is a very beautiful, romantic message. But how does that work in a world where $69 billion buys you access to content? It doesn't for me. So, throwback to the Xbox Gold days that you had to play online. And yeah, I miss that old school Xbox 360 Blades sort of screen. Like, my internet was shit, but it was just pure. It was pure. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4. Oh, that was some of my best online days there. I mean,
it's one of those, though, isn't it? Obviously, you'll never be able to relive those moments again, because that was a time, not just technology time, but an actual time in your life where you probably had a lot less responsibility or something like that. So being able to try and relive them, even if it was a theme that you could download on your Xbox Series X or S now, for you to be able to try and relive those glory days, it's just one of those things where the nostalgia hits hard, but it will never be the same. Oh, it's really deep, that, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's every brand. I remember when the PS4 came out and they released the was it the 20th anniversary grey PS4 that was same color as the original PlayStation 1, and then they released a theme for the PlayStation, so when you started up your PS4, rather than getting the noises and stuff, you get the sort of noise, and it's like first time you turn it on, you're like, oh my god, that takes me back, but then you hit with the PS4 menu and you're like, oh no, it doesn't.
Yeah.
So
I've still got my 360 plugged in here. Like, it's just to the side of me here. I still play my 360 games, whether or not it'll be like PES 2014 or something like that, banger of a game, or the Beatles Rock Band, which I've been massively into at the moment. Like, I still love my 360. I probably play more on my older consoles than I do on my more modern ones.
it's because you're an old man.
I genuinely, I'm still chasing the. I'm like a heroin addict, Graham. I'm still chasing it. I'm just chasing that high again. Never get it.
Microsoft are a software company, no matter what they pretend. They hate having to make hardware, and if they can pull this off, it's right up their street, says Enzo. The very reason I've never trusted Microsoft's hardware push. The thing is, though, their hardware has been really good. Whether you like the design of the Series S and the Series X or not, they've had some really good design decisions in terms of getting like the horsepower out of the machine, getting it to pull at a high level, having a split between low end and high end in the market, where PlayStation was trying to keep everyone just at the top end because they believe in generations before crumbling and making as many last gen games as they could to keep the market open. So Microsoft's hardware push has been pretty good. It just, there was that one interview where Phil Spencer said, we lost the wrong generation. We lost the PS4.
And they couldn't have been more right.
Yeah.
If you tried.
Like Xbox 360, everyone was playing the games. In the end of the 360 generation and into the PS4 generation, everyone built up their digital catalogs. So that is where people will build their loyalties, not necessarily to the brands, but to your own money. You've invested in building out libraries and so on. You've invested in building out social connections and relationships. So you play online with your PlayStation headset on your PlayStation console, playing your PlayStation library games with your mates who also have PlayStations. It's difficult for Microsoft to unpin that, and that's why they've made the switch to software, which is genius. It's definitely a right move. It's just your softwares rely then on the hardware, so that it's also quite dangerous in that sort of sense. The flip side is that hardware needs software, so swings and roundabouts kind of thingy. But yeah. Just buy a 360. Sorry, Bibby's already got one. Also, the customizable avatars for Xbox. Sheesh! And you could buy clothes and stuff for them. Yeah, I used to love that stuff, but also hate that stuff. Because I remember when they first started adding like Adidas things in, I was like, I want a fucking Adidas top. And I remember I used to have a white, almost this colour scheme to be fair, a white Adidas hoodie with 3 blue stripes down the sleeves. It wasn't a hoodie, it was a zip track top kind of thing. And I remember there was the same thing on Xbox Store, but I was like, I'm not spending fucking £8. £8 to decorate a digital dude. Obviously, my opinion to in-game and in-app purchases and stuff is very different now than what it was 20 years ago. But yeah, back then, nah. Today, I'm like,
See, I did. I think they used to do the football shirts in there, didn't they? And I think it was the City 2013 top. And I was like, yeah, I need to have that. Do I want a top hat? Yeah, I want that. Do I want the Guitar Hero guitar floating around me? Yeah, I want that, mate. No worries. Dropping £20. No problems, mate. And that guy looked boss. I think if I logged in now, he'd still be there. Do you know what I mean? That's class. Bring them back.
I've hated this generation out of them all so far. Everyone is frightened to leave the PS4/whatever the Xbox One is called. And the games haven't moved forward as much as they should have in the time the PS5 has been released. Do you know what? I agree with that sentiment. Ish. I believe some experiences have pushed on quite a bit. I believe, though, we also have the thing... How do I describe it? the PS5 is not a monumental leap from a PS4. Whereas you compare the PS4 to the PS3 and the 3 to the 2 and 2 to the 1 and so on. The difference is things like SSDs and DLSS and things like that are what push the generation forward. But because, or that put this generation forward, should I say? But because supply restrictions and all sorts of other reasons meant that basically hardware is caught up in a way that they can plug the gap to an extent, so that they're still making the games for the PS4 generation and the Xbox One generation, rather than purely focusing on the PS5. And you can see that you can just about get away with it. Like Ratchet and Clank is a PS5 game, but they released it for PC, Rift Apart, by the way, that is. And then they basically said, here's your PC specs. And the low end of PCs were like less than PS4 spec. And then people that played Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart on low end PCs churned. So you see that you can kind of make it work, but not quite make it work, and so on. So there is a big chunk.
The whole purpose of that Ratchet and Clank was that it was seamless, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You go and transition in between different elements, and it would just be as if it's no loading screens or anything. Same with Spider-Man now, but try playing it on a bloody PS4, it just wouldn't work, would it?
And that's it. So the SSD did all of the heavy lifting there, but if you're playing it on a PC that's got a HDD and you don't have those same functions, then it's a bit clunky, it's a bit buggy, it's a bit slow, and so on. So, like, you can see that we aren't being held back, but we are being held back simultaneously, because we are getting the good experiences for next-gen consoles. But you're thinking, okay, it's a good experience, but is this the difference from The Last of Us at the end of the PS3 generation versus the first games that came out on the PS3 generation? No, I feel like the difference from the PS4 to where we are at the PS5 now is much, much smaller than just the difference from the PS3 generation itself, and that's probably because of that. So you are right, 100%. They haven't moved forward, but that's because they've for hook or, by hook or by crook, for reasons in their control and not, they've found ways to simulate plug-in the gaps, which will still have brought us down at the top end, 100%. The success of the last generation is what's created a 90 million market on the table, and the fear not to create games that are compatible with them and not just focused on pushing the PS5. No, 100%. That's it. User bases, people that got cash install base. That's the reason why the PSP failed, because they didn't want to support the install base and so on. So what they're doing with the PS5 is forcing people to effectively want to support that install base, but not getting rid of the last one. So yeah, rubber banding. So we are moving forward, but not as fast as we'd like to. First Ratchet and Clank game I played was on the PSP, the Golden Days. Class.
I fucking love my PSP, man. I loved it so much.
I mean, there's a lot of people in the world that like PSPs. I've never met anyone that vouches for a PSP as much as Bib. 100%. 100%. Level 3 backpack, welcome in. Just going around some streams I follow, spreading some love. Just want to say thanks for everything you guys do for the community. I want to say thank you to you for being still in the blue. Yeah. It's a nice in-game PUBG reference for those that understand it. If you don't, never mind. We'll move on. I appreciate it, mate. Thank you very much, dude. We are talking about Xbox. We started off talking about Xbox, and we're now going to move on to our next story, where we talk about Xbox. Nice. This is Tom Ivan at VGC that says December's Game Pass titles for console, PC, and cloud have leaked. Update. Upcoming titles confirmed, including Far Cry 6, Goat Simulator 3, and Rise of the Tomb Raider. So December's first wave of Xbox Game Pass titles for console, PC, and Xbox cloud gaming have seemingly leaked. According to retailer reliable data miner Bill Kun, next month's additions to Microsoft's subscription service will include Far Cry 6, Goat Simulator 3, and Rise of the Tomb Raider, Chivalry 2 and totally reliable delivery service will also reportedly be added to Xbox Game Pass Core next month. Okay, update. Microsoft has announced December's first batch of titles, which are listed below. Spirit of the North, cloud, console, and PC. I won't give the dates because that's irrelevant to the information. Steam World Build, cloud, console, and PC. I'll leave the formats out as well. Clone Drone in the Danger Zone. My God, what a name. Rise of the Tomb Raider, Wild the Iron's Hot, World Wars The Aftermath, Goat Simulator 3, Against the Storm, Tin Hearts, and Far Cry 6. Chivalry 2 and Total Reliable Delivery Service will join Game Pass Core on December 6th too. Nice. Any of those stand out to you, babe?
Yeah, Far Cry. I love Far Cry. I've just not played the new one or the latest one, shall we say. So I'm actually looking forward to getting stuck into that.
Nice. Nice. Okay, we won't stand on that for too long. We've been chatting about Xbox for quite a while. And speaking about games that you've not played, that you probably should play or could play, you've started playing it, I believe. I haven't. Let's jump into our next story, which is from VG247. This is written by Mark Warren, and it says Cyberpunk 2077 is getting a big free update with its Ultimate Edition. Get ready for some, quote, new and hotly anticipated gameplay elements in Update 2.1. Also, I'm just going to stop for just a quick second. Shout out to VG247. I don't have the article, and I think it was only bubbling at the time. I don't think it's been confirmed yet, but Reed Pop, I believe it was, on multiple different sites like Eurogamer, who we often reference for news sources in the scoop, and VG247, Rock Paper Shotgun, and a few others out there. They're all owned by Reed Pop, and you may have seen us over the course of the year talking about strikes in the video game, not strikes, redundancies in the video games industry. These guys are currently being looked at for that because some mega conglomerate has taken them over and decided that they want to start binning people off. So we may not be referencing these for too long, which would be terrible. I just wanted to mention that. So yeah, sucks. Do feel free to keep checking in on your video game sites. Obviously, we help with that by trying to bring awareness and let you guys know who we reference for our video game sites. That's why we bring if you ever wondered why we cut out and show you the news articles and why we tell you who's written it and stuff, is because these people are putting in good work. That's the reason we have this content to talk about all the time. So make sure you do check your news sources if you're interested in video game news. Anyway, back into the article. Like big Cyberpunk 2077 updates with number 2 in their name? Question mark. Well, you're getting another one in the form of update 2.1 next week. CD Projekt has revealed. Yup, you probably thought they were done with the massive 2.0 that arrived alongside the Phantom Liberty, but it seems there's still some more cool stuff that the game's developers have been planning on adding to Night City, and you'll be able to get a look at that in some of a Twitch stream featuring some of them. Quotes, on December 5th. This is obviously in their voice. That's how they sound. Cyberpunk, obviously. On December 5th. Okay, we'll leave that. The same day Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition hits the shelves, a tweet from the game's official account revealed, we'll release a free update 2.1 introducing new and hotly anticipated gameplay elements. You'll be able to learn more about what exactly the update contains by turning into a stream that's set to take place on CD Projekt Red's official Twitch channel at 4 p.m, which is 3 p.m. in the UK, 3 p.m. GMT, not CET. We'll leave the 3 p.m. on December the 1st. Yes, that's tomorrow. So literally 3 p.m. tomorrow, you'll find out what it is. The broadcast will be hosted by CDPR community managers Alicia Cozera and Amelia Lilia Colat. I've butchered those, but
nailed it,
nice.
mate. Oh God, never heard it said so beautifully.
Oh, thanks, mate. With Cyberpunk 2077 guest director Pavel Sasko and producer Monika Ayana Yanovska set to appear as guests. Despite the best attempts of the fans who've responded to the announcement tweet so far, all of them look to be doing a very good job of keeping mum regarding the details about the update that'll be revealed in the stream. To be honest, I wouldn't expect the changes it makes to come anywhere close to being as drastic or large in scales as those including the 2.0 update. I mean, literally, one's 2.0 update and the next one's 2.1. It's clearly not going to be as big. That's what the numbering sequence is about. It's 2 and a bit. 2 is the big bit. God damn. Though anything that adds a bit of extra immersive sheen to the game or a fresh mechanic to try out whenever I get around to replaying Phantom Liberty will be very welcome in my book. Okay, we'll stop there. Phantom Liberty and the 2.0 update brought some massive changes to Cyberpunk 27. Huge. Big enough, in fact, that Cyberpunk 2077, which came out 2 or 3 years ago and was a standalone, not games as a service, not live service game, has now been included in the Game Awards as, what's the category? It's like continued game or continuing game or something like that. Because the changes that they've made have been so sweeping that the game, even though it's still the same game, is a very different game with a whole new lot of content. So that's only just landed, and now they're bringing even more into it. Does that wet your whistle for some Cyberpunk, Dave?
It does, and I have started it. I'm not that far into it, I'm going to be brutally honest. I've not played many games over the last couple of months because of obviously our work commitments and my football commitments and stuff like that away from work. So my video game time has been drastically reduced throughout that time, but I did start it with every intention of obviously completing it, which I probably am going to do. over the Christmas period. It might actually be my Christmas game, but obviously it was something that we wanted to play 4 years ago now, 3 years ago. So we're actually in a position now where this is going to be a game that is, well, from what I've played so far, it feels like the game that should have been released at the time when it got released. So yeah, I'm super happy for the CDR guys, CD Projekt Red guys. I think they've done an outstanding job to try and turn this around. We did call that it hopefully will have this kind of redemption, obviously having the No Man's Sky moment, which probably is the biggest redemption story that we've ever had in video games. And I think this might end up being sat alongside that moment, purely based off of what we're seeing around the community and around the video game sphere. The fact that it's still in the running for winning awards. Unbelievable effort for them from them guys, and I do believe now that they've got a game there that I'm sure most people are probably proud to put their name towards, rather than asking the guys in the back room to take their name and put it on the cutting floor, make sure their name never gets attributed to this game. I'm fairly certain that a lot of people there are extremely proud and want their name to be associated with the project.
Yeah, there we go. Just loaded it up. Best ongoing is the category. So obviously, best ongoing game. The games in there that you'd probably expect to see are Apex Legends, because that's an ongoing battle royale with the season pass. Fortnite, same. Genshin Impact, not a battle royale, but an ongoing game as a service. Then you've got Final Fantasy 14. Yeah. I had to like unpack the Roman numerals for a second there, but Final Fantasy 14 and Cyberpunk 2077. You wouldn't normally put Cyberpunk in that category, and I don't think it will win, especially not with the year that Fortnite's had with like 44 million players or whatever it was in 24 hours. Madness. Yeah. I feel like that will...
I think we might be surprised, you know. I think stranger things have happened. Like obviously with like you just alluded to there, the Fortnite situation was, I don't want to say unprecedented, because we kind of knew that was going to go that way. But I think that I think they're in with a massive shout, you know, because the game, if you had the original version of the game like we did, and it was in a draw, then we got the update for free, buzzing. Like the player count went through the roof for the opening week when that went live again. And the fact that game had I'm sure it was topping charts for several weeks. Obviously, when the update dropped, and there was people's favorite streamers streaming it, or their friends was telling them that they're back in now, and this is the game that you waited for, because the demand for this game was ridiculous. Yeah. Like, I mean, the amount of people that was waiting for this game was the hottest game, the hottest property of that time, and it fell with a whimper, unfortunately. But I genuinely think that they are in with a massive shout with this.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree, but. The bit I'm saying is, like, Apex Legends, Fortnite, and Genshin, you expect them to be in that category. Fortnite with 44 million players in 24 hours, you wouldn't be surprised if that wins. But imagine Cyberpunk 2077 wins a Game of the Year award. We are then putting it into, like, not the same level, but similar sort of level as The Witcher winning Ultimate Game of the Year at the Golden Joysticks. Mm-hmm. The Witcher 3 won Ultimate Game of the Year when, I don't want to say nobody expected it to. A lot of people expected it to, but nobody thought, this is definitely going to win it. Because at that point, The Witcher still wasn't mainstream. There was no Superman playing Geralt of Rivia on Netflix sort of stuff that put it into the mainstream for a lot of people. Most people that were aware of The Witcher were still your PC guys that jumped into console and so on. So,
I've got a question for you then. Based off of the games that I've got there, do you think it's better? Do you think it's got a better chance of do you think it's got a better chance of winning than Apex?
For me, yeah, because Cyberpunk, and I've not played Apex or Cyberpunk in the last year, so I'm talking about this purely as someone from the outside of those communities. I mean, the only game in that list that I have played is Fortnite, so I've not played any Apex in the last year. I've not played Cyberpunk ever. Still in its cellophane wrapper in the drawdown there. Final Fantasy is not a game for me, and Genshin is not a game for me. I've seen a bit of Genshin. I've not watched any of the others, but so for that on its own, I'm judging about how it's I was not going to say interfered with my life. That's not the right way. It's the way that it's managed to get into my social circle, my viewing circles and so on. And I have seen a lot of people I know playing Cyberpunk. Some of them #ad, most of them not #ad. Most of them are going, okay, this is finally the game that I can choose to play, and then spending the extra to get Phantom Liberty DLC add-on and stuff like that. It's clearly doing something right if it can get in 3 years later on. And that is like the No Man's Sky moment. But not quite to the same extent that The Witcher had.
Yeah.
But close enough. In a similar sort of thing, we said 3 to 5 years is kind of what it took to make The Witcher be this wonderful thing. And we are 3 years in, or whatever it is. Was it 2020 it came out? So yeah, 3 years and a month-ish. Oh no, it was early December or something. No, well, fuck it. We'll just say 3 years exactly. We'll leave it there. It's easier than cutting a few days here and there. 3 years ago it came out. They've built it, they've fixed it, they've added a lot more content to it, and they're adding even more stuff. And Idris Elba. I mean, that's fucking Game of the Year right there. Good day. So it wouldn't surprise me if it wins. And it would be an absolute full-on, 180 from shittest game ever. This game is tragic. You want to talk about a failure story. It is Cyberpunk 2077 to... Okay, this thing has just won continuing game 3 years after being an absolute disaster. Yeah. Now that shows you absolute loyalty to your content. Whether it's just a case of trying to make profits or whatever, you can argue all that sort of stuff about the business, but a lot of businesses release games and don't make them profitable if they're broken. Cyberpunk definitely is profitable and always was, but now to the point where it's not just profitable financially, but in the mind share as well, whereas it was the exact opposite of that. So even if it doesn't win this award, it's already won, in my opinion. And the fact that we're getting free updates to it on top of massive updates, as well as paid expansions and Netflix series and stuff.
Yeah.
If we'd have had this conversation 3 years ago, I don't know when it came out exactly. I think it was start of December. So if that's the case, 3 years ago, at this point, me and Bibby were sat in the studio talking about how worried we were that we haven't seen Cyberpunk on any format other than the very small bits of PC code, because they were holding it all back because it was buggy and glitchy and messy and horrible. So when did it come out? Did you just Google it then?
No, I didn't, but it was around then. 1 second. Cyberpunk 2077. It was
10th of December 2020, off the top of my head. David Ryan.
I can't see.
Sorry, David's running chat.
Oh, was it? Oh, yeah, 10th of December 2020. Oh, yeah, it was the day after my birthday, yeah.
So this time, 10 days pre-launch, we were sat in a studio going, well, nobody's seen it. Why are they not talking about it? It's a large game that we know is 60 to 80 hours if you're doing everything, and nobody's been given it yet. Why does nobody have it? Why can they only share images from certain asset packs? Yeah. Why is nobody getting PlayStation codes? Why are they only giving one code per so-and-so? So... Yeah, at this point, Cyberpunk was looking terrible. 3 years later, it looks phenomenal, and it's in a game of the year conversation.
It says a lot when the best way to have played Cyberpunk when it first came out was on Google Stadia.
I mean,
do you remember that?
3 years on, Stadia's not around, and Cyberpunk is. What the fuck? So yeah, well, do you know what? Hats off. Bibby said GG's to CDPR. Absolutely, 100%. CD Projekt Red have clawed it back. So GG's. Blackiavelli, thank you for the follow. I don't know if I've pronounced that properly, but thank you very much for dropping in the stream. Speaking about dropping in the stream,
Benno Wilson.
Hi. How are you doing? How are you doing? How's your video game marketing adventures? The last time you dropped in, did you say you just joined or just started a new agency? Is it going good? Huh? I hope you're doing well, bud. It's been a while. Benno Wilson. He's like mine and your love child, because he's born on the 9th of December. That's you.
That's me.
And he's from Huddersfield. That's me.
Oh, blimey.
Yeah, it's like the middleman. Like, if he was on this podcast, he'd be just there, behind that. There you go.
Does he speak proper England?
It does. Nah, tell thee. Good, mate. Yeah, got a couple of businesses on the go now. Let's go, baby.
Nice.
Speaking about on the go, that's where we're going to be right now. Thank you, everyone that has dropped in. Everyone that has seen this from the Twitch front page. We've had a few new followers. I appreciate you all doing that stuff over the last few days, because we have been on the Twitch front page throughout November. So there's a number of people that have seen it and gone, do you know what? I'm intrigued. Let's click through. Let's find out what they're talking about. Let's drop in. So we've had a few new subs, a few new followers, a few new people getting involved in chat, and it means the world. Thank you very much. Shout out to Twitch once again for giving us that level of support. We appreciate that. So Blackiavelli, if you came from the front page, we appreciate you dropping in. Married now too. God damn, a lot of change since you demolished me on Pezza Upload all them years ago. I don't remember. I don't know. Do you know what? It's all changed for me as well because we played FIFA for a charity live stream, which is not PES. So that's a change. And the only thing I demolished was my own credibility. So it's
that
a very
you through on goal. That will forever tickle me.
It's
that.
a very different world. It's so frustrating though, because like if that was an eFootball, you press triangle, you press X, and it does a flat ball. You press triangle, and it plays it through to the last post for the dinking. So I just pressed triangle through ball, and it just went poof. It was like, what the fuck is that?
You stung them Sondikos in the keeper's hand.
So yeah, there you go.
Tickle me.
Matt, I've read that one already. So yeah, I'm glad you're doing well, dude. We are going to wrap things up though. For everyone that has been in the stream, we appreciate you dropping in. Stick around. We are going to drop a raid on one of our friends. Pass on a little bit of love. Just give you a little bit of a reminder of what we've been speaking about. So we started off talking about important announcements coming from Xbox at the Game Awards next week. Xbox actively teasing their own e-marketing databases. You don't do that lightly, especially not to set things up without any expectation management. So that could mean Xbox is bringing some phenomenal things to the table. The last time they did that, they announced the Xbox Series X. That's how big this is. The flip side is that they've probably just signed a deal and with the Game Awards and have to market it, and they've just done it in a way that isn't management expectations. And this time next week, everyone's probably going to be fuming that the things that have been announced are wrong. I said this time next week. It'll be a few hours after this because it's Thursday evening, if I'm right. Anyway, you get the idea. Then we spoke about Microsoft bringing, actually two things. We're bringing new games to Game Pass, but wanting to bring Game Pass to new platforms as well. So there's new games coming to Game Pass in December, and one of the Microsoft execs said it would be nice to get Xbox games and Game Pass available on anything that has a screen. So be it a smartphone, be it a TV, or PlayStation and Nintendo. And we'll believe it when we see it. And then finally, just then, we were chatting about Cyberpunk 2077 getting another update. Fresh off the back of the 2.0 update, we've got the 2.1 update, which brings new and hotly anticipated gameplay elements. So if you haven't played Cyberpunk, like me, then do feel free to jump in right now. There's a lot in there, apparently. Shout out to CD Projekt Red for sticking with the game and making it playable, and then making it enjoyable. So, love to see it. Love to see it. So we are going to disappear. We appreciate everyone for sticking around. Before we do, though, Mr. Bib.
Yes.
Is there all you'd like to add?
If I remember what to bloody say, it's been a while, Graham. But yes, thank you very much to each and every one of you who have joined us for the first episode of The Scoop this week. We may be back tomorrow, so that means one thing. If you want to help shape that show, there's two ways you can do so. I just started to yawn.
I heard it then.
I broke through it. We got there.
He's like, get back in there, Tia. Get back in there, yawn.
There's two ways you can do so. First of all, find us on social media. It is at Ice Cream Rollers across all major social media platforms, or alternatively, get involved with our Discord. All the links that you require will be listed in the chat below, or if you're watching this in any of our on-demand services, in the description below. But all we need from you is the URL plus your thoughts and opinions. We will then give you our thoughts and opinions on the very next show, which will be at what time tomorrow, Mr. Graham Day?
Well, that will be at 10 a.m. Ish. Yeah, 10 a.m. ish tomorrow. Hopefully we'll bring you a podcast tomorrow. You are around tomorrow, right?
Yes.
So hopefully we'll bring you a podcast tomorrow. We'll see. We'll see. And obviously gameplay over the weekend. Let's go, baby. For now, though, please do feel free to stick around. We will drop. What time do you reckon you're going live with Nietzsche?
Between 7:30 and 8 o'clock. Again, it all depends on when I can get the boy to sleep, but he has been going to bed relatively on time. So yeah, we're looking at about 7:30, 8 o'clock tonight.
Nice. So if you want to stick around, obviously not from now, because that will be like, a lot of hours. But yeah, stick around for 4 hours. Just wait around ish. So yeah, 7:30, 8 ish, 3 to 4 hours ish. Baby will be live again on the channel playing some Fortnite. Are we repping Eminem? Bit of real Slim Shady.
Yeah, I need to load up my Switch account because I know I've got V-Bucks on that, but maybe. Yeah, I've got so many different skins to use, Graham. Do I need another one? Yeah,
yes.
Probably.
Guess who's back?
I think we do,
Back again.
Yeah.
Baby's back. And he spins. Nice. Okay, we are going to disappear. We appreciate you for dropping in. Thank you very much. Stick around for the raid. We'll go and say hi to one of our friends. And until next time, have yourselves a beautiful day. Stay frosty.
Stay frosty.